The bill to amend the 1995 Waqf Act for a more centralized control really of the Islamic charitable endowments has been referred to a joint parliamentary committee for further scrutiny. This after a fierce debate in the Lok Sabha. The Congress-led India Alliance has opposed the law in its present form by calling it anti-constitution, anti-federalism and an attack on federalism as well. MPs of opposition bloc were unanimous in their criticism, while Asaduddin Owaisi of the MIM said that through this bill, the government is trying to convey that it is the greatest enemy of the Muslim community. SP's Rampur MP Mohibullah Naqvi says that invoking Mecca, he says that will the government even advocate having Hindus in the committee for Kaaba in Mecca? He further said that the government has been trampling on the rights of people over the last 10 years, and because of this, people might have to hit the streets in protest. So is there an attempt to mislead the minority community in the garb of opposing Waqf reforms? Listen in to what opposition MPs have said so far.
It is a grave attack on the basic structure of the Constitution as it violates the principle of judicial independence and separation of powers. Sir, one thing has to be understood, that the Waqf management of a property is an essential religious practice for a Muslim. By denying legal recognition to Waqf al-Awlad under Clause 4 and Waqf by user under Section 3R1, government has sought to severely restrict how Muslims can manage their Waqf property. Now you are stopping me from praying. Now what you are doing, you are restraining Waqf al-Awlad. That is not only discriminatory and violating Article 25, sir. There is no limit on anyone to will their property dispose of. Waqf properties, sir, are not public properties. By removing Waqf by user, this government wants to take over Dargah, Masjid and Waqf properties, sir. आप देश को बांटने का काम कर रहे हैं, जोड़ने का काम नहीं कर रहे हैं। आप दुश्मन हैं मुसलमानों के, उसका सबूत ये बिल है।
सर इस तरह के कवानीन से मुल्क की साख को नुकसान पहुंचेगा। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की स्पिरिट हम खत्म कर देंगे, और अगर ये होगा तो कोई भी अकलियत, कोई भी माइनॉरिटी अपने आप को हिंदुस्तान में सेफ नहीं करेगी। पिछले दिनों सिखों के साथ भी ये हुआ, और कुछ ईसाई भाइयों के साथ भी इस तरह के वाकयात हुए हैं, जिसकी वजह से सब लोग अपने आप को असहाय महसूस कर रहे हैं। 10 साल से जो मुल्क में माइनॉरिटीज के साथ, उनके हुकूक के साथ, उनके रिलीजन फ्रीडम के साथ जो खिलवाड़ किया जा रहा है, उससे रूह कांप जाती है। और ऐसा महसूस होता है कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि जनता इन हुकूक के लिए, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को बचाने के लिए दोबारा सड़कों पर आ जाएगी।
When Minority Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju rose to speak, he gave a point-by-point rebuttal to the opposition on the Waqf reforms. He countered the India Alliance's criticism that the bill is being bulldozed without consultation by highlighting that the government has been talking to stakeholders since the year 2014. He's also cited instances where the Waqf boards misuse their powers to claim ownership over the land. He's also called this bill one that will give rights to Muslims and help streamline the process. Watch how the Union Minister countered the claims of opposition and accused them of deliberately spreading misinformation over the new Waqf reforms.
ये एक समुदाय का बात मुसलमानों को गुमराह करके यहाँ बात रखा जा रहा है। एक कम्युनिटी डोमिनेशन करके अगर छोटे छोटे लोगों को कुचल देंगे तो फिर हम इस सदन में बैठ करके हम न्याय कैसे दे सकते हैं? इसमें भी कई ऐसे नेता है जो मुझे आके कहा है कि देश में जितना स्टेट वक्फ बोर्ड है सब माफिया लोगों ने कब्जा कर लिया है। ये बहुत लोग कह रहे हैं, आज सदन में नहीं कह रहे हैं। सदन में अपना अपना पार्टी का दबाव या किसी के डर से या वोट बैंक का चक्कर से नहीं बोल रहा है। जिनको हक नहीं मिला है उनको हक देने के लिए ये बिल लाया गया है। इसमें महिलाओं के लिए, बच्चों के लिए और मुसलमान समाज में जो पिछड़े हैं, जिसको आज तक कभी मौका नहीं मिला, जिसको दबा के रखा हुआ है, उनको जगह देने के लिए ये बिल लाया गया है।
Let's take this across to our guests now joining us. We have with us Gopal Krishna Agarwal, BJP's national spokesperson, Dr Manisha Kayande is MLC and spokesperson of Shiv Sena. With us also is Abbas Haider, national spokesperson of Samajwadi Party, Dr Shujath Ali, spokesperson of the Telangana Pradesh Congress Let's start with you first, Mr. Abbas Ali. Now, a member of parliament, Mr. Mohibullah, came out to use very strong language. Well, one can be opposed to or support any particular bill. The government, of course, says that what opposition doing is misleading Muslims. But the kind of language used that every people will come out on the streets in protest, many would say that that is some kind of incitement, and perhaps it's not responsible for a member of parliament. Parliament, at the end of the day, is for debate. You managed to send the bill to a committee with this kind of opposition that has been put forth. Perhaps that's the right way to approach this topic rather than talking about mass uprisings and so on and so forth. How do you react, Mr. Ali? Awaz Haider.
Madhav, first of all, this, Madhav, this is not incitement. This is the reflection of what people are feeling right now after this bill has been tabled on the House, in the Lok Sabha. Madhav, it is the responsibility of the government to protect the Waqf, for which the Waqf Board pay a sum out of the revenue of the board to the government. Now the government is working for the so-called crony capitalists, and they want land grabbers, they want these properties to further go to the land grabbers, to the land mafia. That is the intent of the government. I would ask the Bharatiya Janata Party and their spokesperson, can you point out any particular section in this bill which will help the Waqf or the people or the communities within the... They are talking about women. I'm talking about Uttar Pradesh Sunni Central Waqf Board and Uttar Pradesh Shia Central Waqf Board. Both of them have women representation. Both the boards have representation from the backward communities of Muslim. So it is not about backward communities of Muslim or women's of Muslim community. Their intent is to further divide the nation. Their intent is arbitrary. Their intent is against the constitutional right of Article 25, 26, Article 14. They don't want to. It is these Waqf is the individual right. See, it is an individual who has donated their property for a religious thing.
Let me put that question across to... No, we know what Waqf is intended for, but since you're saying that many of these provisions are already there, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, already there is representation of women. Already there is, powers given to Waqf as far as conducting a survey, etc. are concerned. What really is new in the bill? That's a question that's coming in from several opposition parties. It's just old wine packaged in a new bottle.
So, Madhav, the bill is already the amendment. It is nothing that the Waqf Board will not be in existence. Nobody is dissolving Waqf Board. They will have all the powers they have. The issue is only amendment to some of the provisions which are not transparent. And in case Indian Constitution and the legal systems give the right to every citizen to go to for appeal to the court, higher court. And there is in the current bill act, there is no provision to go for an appeal. That's only amendment. And nobody, what the Congress and opposition is trying to put forward is that the Waqf Board is being dissolved. No Waqf Board is being dissolved. No, their property is not being taken over by the government. Their functioning is only made transparent, and ultimately whatever benefit is derived through the Waqf Board by particular community, religion, sect, that will go to them only. Where in this amendment that the benefits arrived from those properties will go to other sections of the society, it will go for the benefit of the Muslim community only. So all the false narrative that the opposition want to put forward is very much dangerous, and they are trying to divide. Ultimately,
Shujath Ali, it is the opposition that is trying to divide. No one is trying to snatch property of anybody. It is just about surveys, etc., that are meant to reform and only benefit the community. This is the statement coming in from BJP, and they are saying that there's a concerted effort at misleading people, and Kiren Rijiju, the Union Minister himself in Parliament, has said as much. Your response to that, Shujath Ali?
Venu, I would like to tell you very frankly that this bill is not only anti-constitutional, in my opinion, it is anti-national also. Why? Because when you are having turmoil in your neighbor country, Bangladesh, at that time you are bringing such bills. That means your intention is very clear. You wanted to get the mileage of your communal agenda. That's why we are opposing it, and we will oppose it continuously, because the present law is enough to take any action against the land grabbers, against the culprits. When the law is very clear, why you want to change the, the shape of the Waqf boards?
Manisha Kande, would you like to comment on that? When the law is already clear about who will control Waqf property, yes, why change that? Why do you want to actually change what exists, particularly at a time when India's neighborhood itself, we are seeing all sorts of protests taking place? Is it a deliberate attempt at pursuing a communal agenda, as Shujath Ali appears to suggest?
Well, if you recollect, the Congress government several years ago denied any relief to Shah Bano when she took a talaq from the husband, when the husband deserted her. And this was one of the examples of appeasement of the Muslim community, of the minorities. And they wanted to keep the Muslim women who were dejected and facing injustice from the family, from their husbands. They wanted to keep the status quo as for the Muslim community, that they should not learn, they should not get educated, they should remain in poverty. And the Waqf Board, this was beautifully used, because the Waqf is what? Something which you donate. It is a part that you donate your land, your immovable community, your movable assets, immovable assets. That was the purpose behind it. But then they started grabbing land in the name of Waqf. So whose benefit was this? Was it the poor Muslim who benefited? No, it was the land grabbers. And plus, you don't want any rule of the country over it. So you don't want any rule. You don't want to be ruled. So you want to create a POK-like situation of these lands. It belongs to somebody. We don't know whom it belongs to. It is not on any land record. Nobody is paying the revenue. Okay. Nobody is paying the tax.
So here's a simple question. Here's a simple question, Abbas. If everything's above board, why should anyone object to a survey? If everything's above board, let's assume that everything's perfectly legal, everything's as per the correct order. Why would anyone then oppose a survey?
See, there are 3-4 points I want to make here. First of all, Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson did not even mention a single point where it is going to help the Muslim community or the Waqf. They have claimed so, however. Second thing, see, we don't have any problem with any survey. The problem here is, see, I would like to mention certain sections. No, I'm getting you. See, the problem...
Just let's get that one point clarified. They are saying that the control is within a few families. There is a mafia-like grip over control of Waqf property in state after state, and that is what they attempt to broad base and diversify, so that even the common Muslims get a benefit of it. That's the basic premise which the government is saying.
Let me... Okay, fine, I get that. Let me clarify these things point by point. See, first of all...
Manisha ji, let him make his point. I've asked him a question. Please let him respond. Yeah.
Madam, please don't interrupt me. Let me answer to your question. See, first of all, there is a Waqf tribunal which has been set up by the respective state government to look at the judicial matters of the Waqf properties. See, and that constitutes a member from the higher judicial services, administrative officer equivalent to rank of additional deputy magistrate, and an eminent person who has knowledge over the Muslim jurisprudence, which has been appointed by the government. There is a Waqf Board. Waqf Board constituted of the, the member, they appoint that they elect their chairman, and the Waqf Board basically, they appoint the caretaker of the Waqf property. That is all the Waqf Board has to do. Now the problem is, and the compliance of the decision made by the Waqf Board has to be done by the deputy DM, district magistrate, but which has not been done in all the states. Second thing, that the most important point, see, there is a section 3C in this act which has given, the right which was given to the commissioner, the Waqf commissioner, which was appointed by the state government only, to the deputy commissioner. That means the DM of the concerned district, who are already overworked. Now you are giving the workload of commissioner, which has been appointed specifically to deal with the Waqf issues. You have given that right to DM. Now tell me one thing, and there is another section I would like to mention here, which state that if there is a dispute on a particular property, if till the time the DM has not made a decision, that property will not be treated as a Waqf property.
Okay.
So this is
Gopal Agarwal, here's the point. Here's the point he's making. He's saying already there are problems in implementation, and you are going to officers who are already overburdened with work and giving them more work. So how is this a reform?
No, Madhav, we have to understand that there is, through this amendment, there is no change in the objective of the Waqf Board. One thing, it should be very clear. The objective of the Waqf Board remains what they were earlier. So if anybody says that the Waqf Board will not be able to work for the welfare of the Muslims or minorities, it's completely wrong. Second thing is that what is being done is that the validation of the property, it's just a registration of records of all the properties which is being done all over India. It is only giving more power to them. If it is properly registered with the revenue department, whatever properties are belonging to the Waqf Board, that will give more power and more control of Waqf Board on the properties. Second thing is that it is only giving one right, that in case of any aggrieved party which goes to the tribunal and is not conversant with the decision of the tribunal, judicial review is a constitutional right of every citizen.
Yeah.
If he feels aggrieved.
Well, judicial review is certainly right. The select committee also will look at this matter more closely. We'll of course have to see what finally transpires in terms of the decisions related to the contentious points. But for the moment, I'd like to thank Abbas Haider, Shujath Ali, Dr Madhavdas G Social, as well as Gopal Krishna Agarwal for joining us this evening on Blueprint.